Hey friends, welcome back. Today we are making a fragrance very much like, or in the style of, Dune Eau de Toilette for men. This was released by Dior, I believe in 1997. The perfumers were Olivier Cresp and Jean-Pierre Berthoud. And I used to own this fragrance. I've sold it. It's a wonderful floral fig fragrance. It worked great in Hawaii when I wore the heck out of it. This formula comes from, I believe, IFF. It's a type formula. If I understand it correctly, when a new fragrance is launched, sometimes these type formulas will float around for their perfumers or for reference that just shows, hey, here's how you build something like Dune Eau de Toilette. Of course, it's filled with IFF materials, some of which I purchased just to make this formula. So I have some new materials that we're trying out today as well. I'm very much excited to see them in action. If we look at the structure of this fragrance, per usual, it's not an eau de cologne. Therefore, a lot of materials are in the base. They're in the bottom. Now, most of those materials are in jasmine and muguet floral materials. It's also got plenty in the, what I would call red rosy florals, but that also includes linalool, and linalool can go in multiple directions as far as being floral. Is it herbal? Is it fresh? Is it metallic? Like, what is it? But I lump it in there. We got a fair bit of musks, sandalwood, woody materials like ISO-E Super, some patchouli. I classify my patchouli as a wood. Forgive me. Now, this formula is what I would call a balanced formula. Not that each fragrance family is perfectly matched with the other and it's blended incredibly well. Simply that there are a fair bit of materials from each of the fragrance families. Sometimes you see lots of woods, a little bit of musk, a lot of vanilla, and then, some aromatic notes. And then the other notes are just in trace amounts. Maybe you have 1 part per 1,000 of clove oil or something like that. This has got a fair bit of a lot, so I'm really interested to see what this formula turns out to be. Does it smell like Dune? How close is it? Is it a good formula in general? It's coming from IFF, so I would certainly hope so. But let's get started. Today, we are going to start with that floral core. I'm liking this more and more, doing it this way. So I'm going to give it a try. We're going to give it a try. And let's start off with the linalool. Just what I said. Linalool can go in either direction. It is floral. It's fresh. It's sweet. It's metallic. It's bright. It's lovely. Linalool is also in a lot of naturals. A lot of natural materials contain linalool, and it's really a top note. It does not last for very long on a strip. The batch that I'm making today is roughly, I believe it's 8 grams. Oh no, it's almost 7 grams. It's at a 12.7% concentrate because I'm using a lot of diluted materials here. Okay, linalool is down. Next up, Tetrahydro Linalool. I believe I purchased this just for this formula. And I've been evaluating it today. It's a lot like linalool. I'm not sure, as a beginning perfumer, Tetrahydro Linalool should be on your purchase list. It is a lot like linalool. I would say it's a touch softer, a touch less metallic, almost like it's a bit more candied. Not necessarily that it's more sweet per se, but just a little more in the, it's just a little less bright and a little less metallic to my nose. Otherwise, it's linalool. So we're going to add it in here because it's in the formula. There we go. Okay. Tetrahydro Linalool has been added. Another new one I purchased just for this formula, Piamosa. Piamosa is very light, fresh in a floral way, like that nice light bright edge of Lily of the Valley. I've not smelled cyclamen, but when I smell cyclamen aldehyde, I see how there's a tie-in between the cyclamen aspect of Piamosa. When I read the description, it says peony. I've not smelled peony, and I thought I had peonies in my front yard, but they don't really smell. So either they're not functional flowers, or I don't actually have peonies in my front yard. Quick update, I removed the roses in my front yard. New roses are growing. I bought them from David Austin. Now, that place has a good reputation. That store has a good reputation, so I'm certainly hoping that those roses will smell. But Piamosa has, I wrote down it's fresh, it's light, it's a little bit green. It is floral, but it's very soft, it's very delicate. And there is not much in this formula. Part of me wonders if they just throw this in to say, oh yeah, you totally need this. It's a slight trace material that'll really enhance the depth and complexity of your fragrance, but we'll see. Next up, phenyl, ethyl, alcohol. Okay. A nice middle note, so to speak. Not that it provides a whole lot of punch. It hangs around on a strip for a while, but it's smooth. It's centered in my nose. It's a little bit rosy. Okay. We are good. Phenyl ethyl alcohol is all done. Okay. We're gonna do a few more. Where are we? We've got the Jasmal. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we're going to do Neroli. This Neroli is from Tunisia. Is this the right one? Yes, it's from Tunisia. I got this from Liberty Natural. And this is a nice Neroli. Some Nerolis, like say Moroccan Neroli, has less of the linalyl acetate, that brightness up top, and it's a little bit more indolic. The Egyptian Neroli, to my nose, tends to be a bit brighter, a bit more linalyl acetate. The Neroli I have from Tunisia is kind of smack dab in between. It's wonderful. When I evaluate it on a strip, it's gone after about 8 or 9 hours. So it doesn't last long, but while it's there, contributes a wonderful, bright, floral, just a wonderful, wonderful note. Another wonderful note, I purchased this just for the formula, Petitgrain Absolute. It's like Petitgrain, only lasts a little bit longer. Also, the woody note, I would almost call it tea, like green, not green tea, but tea. Again, you have the Petitgrain, the Neroli type vibe, which is linalyl acetate, some other stuff. But there's a underlying woody tea note that I get in the Petitgrain Absolute. Ooh, and it's a nice color. One more, good. Okay. Spent the last week reviewing Neroli's Orange Flower Absolutes and Petitgrain. It's been a rewarding endeavor. Okay, we're going to do a couple more. What we're going to do is we're going to include the linalyl acetate. We already added the linalyl. Let's add the linalyl acetate. This is really just going to boost, in my mind, it's going to boost the floral aspect, that a little bit more bright metallic floral aspect, some of which we're getting in the Neroli and the Petitgrain. So let's add it in here. Okay, we're good. We are good. Okay. Now, to wrap up, boy, there's this floral core is just going to be massive. Let's save a couple of the things. Meh, why not? I'm wondering, do I put in the Methyl Anthranilate now? Because that can be strong. In Neroli, and I realize there's not much Neroli in this fragrance, but in this formula. But in Neroli, occasionally you can get a little bit of indole, in the smell, in your material, in the Neroli. Now, this does not have indole. This has Indolarome. Indolarome, if I remember correctly, will not create a shift base with the methyl anthranilate. But it's very similar to indole. It's been a minute since I've done an evaluation of this, so I need to jog my memory. But what we're going to do is add in some of the more jasmine-oriented materials to build out the florals. So let's start with the Indolarome. Yeah, this is a little bit more fecal than indole. It's a little bit more fecal, but the same vibe. The same vibe. And it serves the same function in our fragrance. When you plop it in your fragrance, you don't smell the fecal note. You don't smell the mothball or the rotting plant. I mean, you don't smell that. What you get instead is this diffusive warmth. Okay. Next up, we have Hexyl Cinnamaldehyde. A very nice lily of the valley note, kind of in the Muguet family. I haven't decided if Hexyl Cinnamaldehyde should be in the beginner's perfumer's organ. It's in a lot of stuff, but sometimes I wonder if you're better off with just hydroxycitronellal or, God forbid, Lilial or Liral. Okay, next up, Jasmone. Cis-Jasmone. Yeah, fresh, a little bit of green, lily of the valley. I also get a little bit of celery and a little bit of mushroom, which is interesting. There's not much of this in here. Okay. Next up, Jasmopyrane Forte. Now, I have not found IFF's Jasmal. Jasmal is used a lot in formulas. I haven't found a supplier. You can use Jasmopyrane from Givaudan as a replacement. It's the same molecule. I don't have Jasmopyrane. I have Jasmopyrane Forte. What that is, they describe it as a broader cut of the material that they create. In other words, the mushroom note is a little more prevalent here. But this is also floral. Let me put this in because I can't multitask. Okay. It is oily. It's a little floral, but it comes off as oily. And yeah, it's weird. It's a little weird. Comes off as oily, but fresh, a little bit green, and then a little mushroom, that earthy mushroom smell. Whatever it is, it works. We have 3 more materials in our floral families here. We have some benzyl salicylate. Benzyl salicylate is really a great blender. I believe benzyl salicylate is found in jasmine. I'm going to have to double check that. That might not be a fact. That might be something I made up. But I will check on that. But it certainly is floral. It's floral in its effect, and it really helps blend all the materials in a formula. Salicylates in general, but benzyl salicylate, amyl salicylate, cis-3-hexyl salicylate are great blenders. Something like ethyl salicylate, if I'm remembering correctly, ethyl salicylate or methyl salicylate, that's like a mint slap. That's a mint bomb. It still is salicylate-like, but a little bit more pronounced in its application, in its effect in your formula. Okay, next up, Irival Oliffac. You could use Orris Jivco, or if you have orris root, orris butter, use that. But Irival Oliffac is cheaper and it smells good. We're good. Okay, wonderful. Last up, and then we're going to smell this, is the Methyl Anthranilate. Strong, strong. Okay, don't overdo this, Ryan. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. Gonna give our sample a little shake. Okay. We'll give it a dip. And then I'm going to write down that this is our floral core. Number 1. Great. Now, what direction should we go? We have sweets and ambers. By sweets, I also lump in musks. A lot of musks have a sweetness to it. I also lump in sandalwood, like something like Bacdanol, ebonol, polysanthol, so on and so forth. I've got Grisalva, which is a wonderful ambroxan-like material. But let's see, we've got, some greens and some tops. I think we're going to break this down into 3 more groups. Let's do the more herbal notes. We're going to start with Rosemarel. And this is another IFF product. It's nice. Rosemarel is nice. It's like rosemary. Believe it or not, they branded it pretty well. It's like rosemary, but it's not so dirty. And, it's not so dirty. I'll leave it at that. But it is nice. Fresh, aromatic, definitely like rosemary, just a little cleaner. And when you're making something like Dune, clean is good. Clean is good. Let's add our terpinyl acetate. Not much of this in here. Okay. Terpinyl acetate. Got a little bit of a fresh lavender lime vibe, and I think we barely need a drop. Oh, that was spot on. Okay, that feels good. We have our Terpinyl Acetate and our Rosemarel. Next up, we're going to add our patchouli. Yes, we're going to put this in our aromatic section. Patchouli can be put in a lot of different boxes. You can organize it however you want. Lasts a long time. It does have a woodiness. Even to my nose, it has a slight a smooth sweetness at the bottom. Not sweet like vanilla or sweet like sugar, but just smooth, calm, chocolatey. And I think for the record, you can use patchouli in a chocolate accord. But it's very nice. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, I haven't found there it is. Patchouli. Oh, there's a good bit of patchouli. Almost 10% of the concentrate is in patchouli. I am using Patchouli Light. This is from Eden Botanicals. Candidly, almost every patchouli I've purchased has been good. Whether it be Perfumer's Apprentice, Perfumer's Supply House, Creating Perfume, Liberty Natural, Eden Botanicals, The Perfumery, Harrison Joseph. All have been good. I have not purchased any off of Amazon. I haven't tried that. And I probably won't. Now, next up, Vetacetex. Vetacetex from IFF. I don't know why they did this. It smells like vetiveryl acetate. If you don't have this, no biggie. Just use vetiveryl acetate. Maybe this is what it is. Maybe this is a more refined or differently processed version of vetiveryl acetate. I don't know. If you don't have vetiveryl acetate, just use some vetiver. 2.5% of the juice is in this Vetacetex. Quick story in my review of Neroli, Petitgrain, Orange Flower Absolute, and quality materials. Right now, as of this date, right now I'm recording this June 13th, 2024. Creating Perfume has a Neroli that is quite inexpensive. Costs roughly 1/5 of what I see it elsewhere. Tread carefully with that. You get what you pay for. Something is up with that Neroli. I don't know if it was a bad batch. I don't know if it's a questionable supplier. I don't know if it was adulterated. I don't know what's going on. But it's Neroli after about an hour. But for the first hour, something's wrong. It's dirty. It's too dirty. It's off. Something ain't right. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised Creating Perfume is stocking this, because everything I've bought from Creating Perfumes has been amazing. It's been absolutely wonderful. And I thought I was getting a pretty sweet deal buying Neroli from them at that wicked price. But there's a reason that price is so low. So I ran into a similar issue with Liberty Natural. Their Egyptian Neroli doesn't smell right. It smells different than Eden Botanicals. It smells different than the Perfumery, the stuff that I have. That Neroli was just off after about 30 minutes. Something was wrong. So I kindly emailed their quality control and let them know. Maybe they just got a bad batch, and maybe they didn't wait, a full hour or 2 hours to continue evaluating the material they received. Because on the opening, it smells great. It's kind of the opposite of Creating Perfume. The Creating Perfume stuff doesn't smell very good in the opening. It smells too dirty, but it smells okay when that dirt goes away. On the flip side, Liberty Natural's Egyptian Neroli, it smells very good. right at the outset. It's only after 30 minutes that you're like, something's wrong. Okay, Maddox, number 2. Now, I don't mean to smash or talk badly about their business. I've had wonderful experience with Liberty Natural across the board. They have a couple of other Nerolis that I have. Tunisian Neroli, Moroccan Neroli. I've got Petitgrain from them, Orange Flower. I've got everything from them. So far, it's been dang good. You know, I cannot argue, which is why I was a little confused. I'm like, whoa, this one seems a little bit off. Okay, let's move on. Next up, we're going to get into some of the top notes and the green notes. We're going to start with the bergamot. Now, this candidly is a replacer. I do not have, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to split it in half. Bergamot. We're going to add lavender. Let's do Bulgaria, lavender Bulgaria. Okay, we will fix this, and then we will put equal amounts of each. So the formula calls for Myrcenyl Acetate or Linalyl Acetate. I didn't want to just add more Linalyl Acetate. The description of the molecule is similar to Linalyl Acetate, but I've already got Linalyl Acetate in this. The description of the material is that it's bergamot, it's lavender, it's fresh, it's aromatic. It's got a little bit of hint of nutmeg in it. Maybe I should add some nutmeg in here. I don't have it. I do not have it. So what are we going to do? Well, you know what? Bergamot, lavender, pretty harmless, pretty inoffensive when it comes to top notes in fragrances. So that's what we're going to add. Let's start with our bergamot. Bergamot from Calabria. This is bergaptine free. Bergaptine is a Coumarin, which it's not very good on your skin when it comes into contact with sunlight. Just a heads up. Okay, lavender. Where are you? Lavender, Bulgaria. There we go. I should be using my Lavender USA because America. I'm supporting my local economy, but I've got so much Bulgarian lavender, might as well use it. There we go. Yeah, we are not going to go wrong with a little lavender and bergamot in this formula. Next up, let's add our limonene. Now, interesting that this formula explicitly called for limonene. Like, why not use lemon? Why not use green mandarin? You know? Limonene. If you need a citrus note, but you're not sure which direction you want to go, you can always start with limonene. It'll give you that generic citrusy note that you're looking for. Then you can give it a little bit more personality as you evolve your formula. 2 more. We're going to add triplau. Now, interestingly, this is a fig fragrance. If you've smelled Dune, there's a fig note in here. If my memory serves me correct, stemone is included in the classic fig accord. There ain't no stemone in here. Interesting. In fact, the only quote-unquote green notes we have are triplau, and it could be argued allyl amyl glycolate. which could be fruity because it's got that pineapple note, pineapple aspect, that pineapple, what's the word, rind, I call it. I don't know if that's what it is, but the edge of the pineapple. But it's also, this stuff is also called isoamyl, isogalbaniscone. Hold on, friends, I need to know this right now. Isogalbanate, allyl amyl glycolate, another IFF material. Huh. Who'd have thought that they'd be plugging their own materials in their own formulas? All right. Reminds me when you get so I'm in finance, for those of you who don't know. I manage investment portfolios. And you can go to, say, Vanguard or BlackRock and basically get a free portfolio built for you. They just have them freely available. But wouldn't you know it? They're filled with Vanguard funds and filled with BlackRock funds. It's just the perfect opportunity to sell your product and say, we can do something, we'll do something for you, but hey, take a look at our product. I suppose that spirit, what's the word, spreads across all industries. It's not particular to finance. It's probably not particular to fragrances either. Okay, so here we're going to write, these are our top notes. Top. And I did kind of change my mind. I put Grisalva 10% on here to smell. I can't really smell it. I can tell something's trying to happen in my nose. Something's there. It's sweet. It's ambery. I got that. But I'm wondering if this is a little too concentrated. I haven't done a lot of evaluation at the 1% level for Ambroxan, Ambrox DL, Cetylox, Grisalva, so on and so forth. And I know that your nose can get overwhelmed with a higher concentration, and it's just harder to smell. So I'm going to save this Grisalva for the very end. We're going to smell it and see if we can smell the difference by its addition. But until we get there, let's add in our other materials. First, Hedione, methyl dihydro jasmonate, the magic material, this stuff. I wonder how long it took perfumers to just overdose this. For them to say, hey, what if we build a fragrance that is 50% Hedione? What would happen? How long does it take perfumers in general when a new molecule is created to establish a range, an acceptable range of use? I wonder. Okay, next up, we're going to do Ambrettolide. Not much. Ambrettolide, not much at all. Good. Wonderful. 5 more. We're going to do our Galaxolide. I've got Galaxolide 50. Galaxolide should be on your short list of ingredients to buy for your beginner's perfumer's organ. I would suggest Galaxolide 50. Okay. Almost 15% of the juice of the concentrate is Galaxolide. We are good. Okay, we have some ISO-E Super. Not very much. About 5%, 6% of the concentrate. is Isoe Super. There's more patchouli in here than there is Isoe Super. Isn't that interesting? Okay, one more draw. I think I'm going to have to make another dilution. I rarely use the 10% dilution of Isoe Super. Usually I'm using it neat, but that needs to be redone. Next up, Bacdanol. Bacdanol is a wonderful sandalwood material. Less rosy than Javanol, a little bit more tenacious than Ebonol, if I'm remembering correctly. But absolutely wonderful, this stuff. Okay, done. Ooh, right on the money. Right on the money. 2 more, then we're dipping, and we're going to do our Grisalva. But first, we have Coumarin. There's not much, just a few drops of coumarin, which of course is sweet, it's bright, it's a little hay-like. Come on, okay, that'll do. That's close enough. Close enough for perfumery. Last up with this, vanillin. There's a fair bit of vanillin here. Almost 3% of the concentrate. Okay. Okay. Let's give this a mix. A shake. We'll give it a dip. Remember, when I dip, you dip, we dip. Okay, we got base. All about that base. There's 4, top number 3, then last up, we're going to add the Grisalva. With the Grisalva, not much. Ooh, okay, so we are really going to see if this has an effect, because 0.25% of the concentrate is in Grisalva. We're going to see if in trace amounts this has an effect on the juice or if it's all in our heads. Now, if we don't smell anything, that doesn't actually mean it's not doing anything. It might mean that this needs time to blend, might needs time to mature. How these fragrances change even over the course of a few weeks to a month is wild. Not that it changes the fragrance necessarily, but the way that it blends together, it changes your interaction with the fragrance. Your experience of that smell is changed after it matures. Okay, this is the last one. Grisalva, number 5. All right, cap on. Let's do our evaluations. The first was the floral core. This is the linalool, phenyl ethyl alcohol, the weird Piamosa, Tetrahydro Linalool. We also added the stuff like the Linalyl Acetate, the Irival Oliffac or the orris butter reconstitution, Methyl Anthranilate, the Indolarome, Benzyl Salicylate, just all the things, including Neroli and Petitgrain Abs. Wow. This is a lovely floral accord. I am getting something like Neroli, but not as in your face. Neroli, when you smell it, can just punch you in the face with that linalyl acetate, that metallic, that sweet floral metallic nature. This is much more refined. It could be because of the Jasmal, the muguet and the jasmine materials that we have in here. The Hexyl Cinnamaldehyde, Cis-Jasmone, Jasmopyrane forte. But this is a beautiful floral core. It's light, it's airy. It's like a very nice neroli that is just a little bit more light and airy. That is wonderful. Then we added in our aromatics, like the Rosemarel, which is that rosemary note. We added in the Terpinyl Acetate, the lavender, the bergamot, the Patchouli, the Vetacetex. Oh, we didn't do the bergamot and lavender, that's later. But we did the Vetacetex. Vetacetex, it's such a weird word. Okay, the Vetacetex and the Patchouli are really coming through. They're really coming through. The Terpinyl Acetate, Rosemarel, I'm having a harder time picking that up. But I'm still getting that floral core, but now I'm getting that, if you know patchouli, just put a little patchouli on top of neroli and jasmine, and that's what you got. And then in the background is something like vetiveryl acetate. Okay, next up, the top notes. Now we add the limonene, the bergamot, the lavender, and could have swore we had another one. Oh yeah, we did the triplau and the allyl amyl glycolate. Interesting. This almost smooths it out a little bit. Was not expecting that. I was expecting something that was brighter, a little more forward. Instead, I get something that's a little bit more balanced and calm in my nose. Now that said, the mushroom aspect of the Jasmone, Cis-Jasmone and the Jasmopyrane forte, I'm starting to get that a little bit more. It's almost as if the bergamot is bringing out the mushroom in the jasmine materials. Next up, we add the base. Okay, this is like a vanilla bomb. Yeah, this is very sweet. Interesting. This smells very good. It smells very good. I'm not going to argue with that. But this is very far away from Dune. This is very far away. First up, before we get to the Grisalva, I'm going to put this on my skin. Okay, smell that base one more time. So here we have the Ambrettolide, the Galaxolide. We had the Hedione, we had the Isoe Super, Vanillin, Coumarin. I really just feel like I'm getting a vanilla sandalwood base. That's very interesting. Okay, let's see if we can smell the Grisalva. I don't know if it's in my head or if I can, but I swear to God, this smells livelier. This might be all in my head, but this to me just smells like it's got a little extra. That's weird because we did not put much in. Okay. I'm going to question this. I'm going to come back to this for like most of the day and smell that again. But I would swear that's got a little bit more shine to it. Last, on the skin. Sweet. Sweet. I'm still getting the patchouli and the Vetacetex. I'm interested to see how this blends, how this dies down. Right now, this does not smell like Dune. It does not smell like Dune. Doesn't mean this smells bad. Doesn't mean this smells bad. But is it Dune? No. Is it a Dune type? In that, is it a light floral with a sandalwood musky base? Yeah. Yeah, it is. It does smell good, but alas, you can't win them all. Thank you, friends, for dropping by. If you whip this up, give the swap a try. Try swapping out Triplau, put in some Stemone, see what happens. See what happens there. See if we can get our fig note that we lost. In any case, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.